Hey, welcome to a special Dude Soup podcast. We're not going to call it Dude Soup, right?
We're gonna call it the Adam podcast.
Oh,
With Adam and Adam.
Hi.
we're a majority.
Adam, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm Adam, that guy from a show called YMS.
What does YMS stand
It
for?
stands for Your Movie Sucks.
Yes. It's actually one of my favorite channels.
You have a
think
YouTube
personally.
channel, right?
Yes,
I watch
I have a
it.
YouTube channel.
Well-
YouTube.com/.
Slash. It's you
It's
better
one of the
just use
worst.
the
Wait, no,
search
I want to know what it
function.
is. I want to know what
So
it is.
it's yourmoviesucks.org, but the dot is not a dot; it's a
DOT?
DOT.
Yeah.
So it was a way to promote the actual website where all of my content is
Got it.
mirrored
Got it.
in the title of the channel. So people I didn't have to explain it; people would just see it and be like, "Oh, there's a website."
Well, because
Yes.
you
Right.
always have a problem with copyright
Yeah,
stuff,
and
right?
that's why all my stuff's mirrored.
Right.
So
But it's called, so, okay. I was always confused by this because if you can do a website, I'm guessing yourmoviesucks.com was taken.
yes,
So
but
you-
not. It was owned by somebody, but not actually in use.
Yeah.
Right. So when you went to GoDaddy or whatever, you were like, you just went down the list. So I've done this before. I'm like, I want to buy a website.
Yeah, it was
And I
like .org isn't that
Yeah.
bad of a thing.
But I was told don't do .org because
It's nonprofit.
yeah, you should be nonprofit.
Are you nonprofit?
No, it's I looked up why certain things are named .org, .com, whatever, and even though it was pretty standard back during the .com boom and way back, there's no real limitations. I'm not
Right.
doing anything like illegal.
No,
or
we know that. We know that.
misleading. It doesn't.
I think that's just the connotation,
.org.
right? It's like .org. It's like
I
an
don't think anybody
organization.
thinks it.
You should have gotten a .biz.
Yeah.
I like the .biz.
I like .tv.
.tv
I
is also
actually,
very
I
good.
recently registered a .sucks domain. So if you type in yourmovie.sucks, it redirects you to my website.
That's 100 times better.
I know.
I like that
so
a lot.
I was waiting.
Or
It didn't get
.xxx.
invented.
Oh yeah,
until-
or your movie sucks.xxx.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, there is lots of porn.
On your
Lots of porn.
website?
Yeah, it's only porn actually. I don't know what show you guys are talking about, but
I think,
there's a reason why it's called Your Movie Sucks.
I think a lot of people. I found out about you from the what's her name, Megan is Missing video.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that popped up on Reddit, and I'm like, this is a very funny video. And I showed it to a lot of people. I'm like, this is very funny. And then like the more I followed your stuff, I was like, oh, Adam seems like a cool guy. And
Why,
then
thank you.
And then you hit me up because you were a fan of Rooster Teeth,
oh yeah.
and you were like, who the fuck are you guys? And we're like, yeah, come on by. It'd be great because we're kind of Rooster Teeth. We
Well,
are
yeah.
Rooster Teeth.
Absolutely, Rooster Teeth.
Well, when you first hit me up, we had like just started.
Oh, gotcha.
I forgot. Because I mentioned you in a podcast. That's what it was.
Yeah, so basically whenever somebody mentions me on the internet, I know about it because I have all-seeing eyes. Plus, I'm always on the computer.
So what brings you to Los Angeles?
Just hanging out. Never been to the city.
Oh.
Decided to go on this podcast and also movie fights, which I don't know when this airs, so I don't know if anybody will know about it by the time that
Like
I
4
don't
months from
know.
now, maybe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about movies that will be out 4 months from now. Then.
Well, it would be great because by that time everyone will see it,
yeah.
and we can. I don't know.
We can talk about Star Wars because Star Wars will be out in 4 months.
Is it?
Yeah.
You bet it is. 2
Oh
months.
yeah,
2 months, bud.
they're selling tickets on Monday.
They are. I know. I'm getting ready for it.
Yeah, I should probably get
Yeah.
those tickets.
I guess going back to the beginning of this whole thing, we kind of jokingly talked about doing a movie and TV kind of podcast. I know Rooster Teeth used to do one, screenplay, and then that went away, but like we might be able to fill that void some way. So this is kind of a test, I guess. We're like, hey, let's just see if we can talk about movies and stuff like that. And Adam, you coming into town kind of got that talk started where I'm like, yeah, he runs a channel called Your Movie Sucks, but I know you also play games and
Oh, yeah.
everything like that. So we can basically talk about whatever, but inevitably we made a list. Bruce and I saw the film Sicario.
Which is awesome.
I guess we're 2 weeks behind on that one now. I guess it's
Sicario? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess
We were
it
a
did.
little
That's
late.
true.
yeah. We both enjoyed it. I don't
Yeah.
know. I walked away from it. How would you describe that movie? What would you say?
I feel like it excelled in its action scenes for sure, and also tone.
I guess what's the film about? Like, how would you describe this to your
Well,
grandmother?
Oh, to my grandmother, I would say don't watch it. But it's if I'm gonna try and describe the plot, basically Emily Blunt plays a character who is thrust into this dangerous environment, which is the Mexican cartel situation,
Right.
Like
where
drug wars, basically.
if you've been paying attention to the media, people get decapitated in the streets, et cetera, et cetera. So why not make a movie about that and have a really
And she gets like put on like a special force.
Yeah.
From what's the guy's name? the dude from the Goonies.
Josh Brolin?
Yeah, Josh Brolin's like, I'm putting together a team. It's like Avengers, but there's like you're kind of finding she's basically she doesn't know anything that's going on.
She's finding out along the way what this like task force
and
does.
you as the viewer are getting it through her eyes. So like
exactly.
you're getting the answers as she does, and you kind of like live vicariously through her. But Benicio del Toro shows up and all stuff, and like it's just there's a lot of mystery, but like it's I don't know. There's not like a big twist or anything really, right?
No, I mean, there's a little twist.
There's good payoff.
Yeah,
to
there's
the
a good
movie, I
payoff.
would say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's have you seen any other of Denis Villeneuve's movies?
Yeah, Bruce just recently watched Prisoners.
Oh yeah.
And he recommended it to me.
Yes,
Okay,
which I got from you. So yeah, Prisoners
It's
is
working.
Yeah, actually, I noticed you do the IMDb list, and I actually go down those. So when I travel, I rent those movies on Google Play, and I just front load them and then like watch them when I travel.
Nice.
Yeah, so Prisoners was one of those movies, and I told Bruce to do the same thing. And yeah, that director after that and Enemy, I didn't know he did Sicario until after we saw it, and then
cool.
I kind of put two and two together and was like, yeah, that was a good freaking movie.
It's super tense. He's really good at tension.
So
Really good.
you know he's doing the Blade Runner sequel too, right?
Correct.
Which
we do know that.
Yeah, I mean, so Blade Runner is probably the one movie I watch every year.
Yeah.
I always go back and watch it just because I always find new stuff, and it's just like probably my all-time favorite movie. And I was worried about that, but then I guess after seeing Prisoners, I'm just like, or Prisoners and Sicario, I'm like, this guy can do action, he can do tension. I hope he can do cyberpunk sci-fi, but
I think he will. I mean, like Blade Runner sort of had built-in tension, at least the original did, and I think he's going to be really good at that for the sequel.
He's got the same cinematographer with him too,
Good.
also for Blade Runner.
Wait, the same cinematographer from the first Blade Runner?
From Prisoners
Oh, okay,
and
yeah, right.
Sicario.
I figured.
Yeah, I don't think he did
Well,
the original
what
Blade
did-
Runner,
I don't
although
think he did,
he's
yeah.
been working for a while.
what did you say, Bruce, about Sicario? You said it was like you said something about True Detective.
It's a
or
long
something.
episode of True Detective.
Yeah.
It was a long episode of True Detective season 2. And even though everybody hated season 2, I actually liked season 2. Thought it was shot really well, and also the music was really really tense and kind of like evil. And that's the way Sicario felt.
If I gave season 2 of True Detective a chance.
Oh, you didn't?
Then
Okay.
I mean, I tried. I
many-
watched the first episode and then
Only one?
just
Oh,
well,
geez.
I was
You
just
didn't give it a
like-
chance at all.
which is why I said I did.
Yeah.
I
No, I
mean,
know.
I couldn't handle Vince Vaughn. Honestly, I couldn't handle him, and I couldn't handle that. Like nothing was really picking up.
It's unfortunate because I guess somewhat spoilers to True Detective. Not that I go back and forth where I'm like, it was a great season, it was a bad season. He has the best ending out of all the characters.
Yeah, he does.
I thought, in my opinion, like it kind of brings it full circle, and it's really kind of like heartbreaking. You're like, oh wow, I really liked him. That sucked, but like. The ending is just so dark.
Yeah.
It was like it's kind of worth it just for that. But I think so many people just wanted
The ending of season 2.
Yeah, it's a really dark ending.
Either
It's
way,
just-
like there's
it's depressing.
There's a brutal shootout in the middle. I think it's the 4th episode. So if you get to the 4th episode, you might enjoy it. But regardless, there's a brutal shootout that feels a lot like the shootout in Sicario on on the border bridge.
You know what's funny is that episode 4 of season 1 of True Detective was also
Right.
like turning point.
Well, and that was the thing
It's
that
kinda funny.
Like the first 3 episodes of season 1 of True Detective are extremely boring, and nothing happens.
They were great character studies, though.
They were-
great character
sure.
studies with great
But
performances,
everybody-
and that's what True Detective season 2 was kind of missing from the first episode. is
Everybody
what I
whined
felt.
about the same thing. So like they all whined about season 1, the same thing. Where it's like, oh, it's so boring, nothing's happening, and then the 4th episode it turns around. So
I liked season 1 from episode 1. Honestly,
I did
it was
too.
something that
Yeah.
I was just hooked on from.
I
the
think
first episode.
James always brings this up, but he talks about charisma, like how some actors just like bring it, like McConaughey and Woody Harrelson were just like they had just such a good thing going back and forth, and then also people always forget about this. They had the flashback angle, so you're already kind of you were kind of hooked on this, like ooh, what's going on, and then the new season you're like. Okay, so this guy is a bike cop, and she's got
It's
a
tough,
thing.
yeah.
And there's like they introduce like 6 characters, and they're like, and here's a dead body. Are you in? Or it's like I'm confused.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but I like the first season, so I'll just keep going.
I could give it a second chance.
I mean,
At some point.
I'm
I just
kinda
don't know
like-
when.
well, yeah, it's only 8 episodes, and that was
Yeah.
the thing that I sort of kept me going. To be honest with you,
How many episodes was the first season?
8.
Like, oh,
That's
okay.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like it was one of those things where like again I was like, all right, well I'm in for 8. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know?
It like I said, I mean, it's worth it. Kind of just get to the end for Vince Vaughn, where he's like, hey, he had like kind of a good thing going, but he spends most of that season just kind of going around and like collecting money.
He's like trying. There are some scenes he's trying to act, and other scenes he does a great job. And usually I think it's because he has another really good actor on the other side of him. So if it's like Colin Farrell or Rachel McAdams against him, he is able to sort of rise to their level. But you're right, Vince Vaughn can't support a scene on his own.
I think
So.
I was among many people that when they announced that he was being cast for it was kind of just like, what?
Yeah, no, I know.
What?
Yeah,
like,
I
why?
I was too.
Vince Vaughn in the Gus Van Sant Psycho remake.
Yeah,
That was funny.
Yeah, that was a weird thing. I
Why
remember
did
that.
he do that?
He wants to do something different, probably.
I don't know. Well, I mean, 'cause-
why did Gus Van Sant do it even?
well, I mean, like if you
Why
go,
did either of them do it? Why
I think
did
it was
happen?
just because they could. Like Vince Vaughn was this interesting guy who came up with Swingers, and then what's his name? This is like almost the exact same story of what happened to Vin Diesel, except Vin Diesel, I don't know, went a completely different route because he's a big nerd. But Spielberg got an eye, basically saw Vince Vaughn in Swingers. He's like, "You're going to be in my next Jurassic Park movie."
Oh yeah.
And he played Vince
it.
Vaughn, and like after
Yeah.
that, it was kind of easy street for him. And then
Continue playing Vince Vaughn forever.
yeah, except in the Psycho movie, which happened for some reason, and they're like Gus Van Sant, who does like very interesting things, did a very interesting thing, but we didn't need it. I don't know, it was strange.
It was really unnecessary and kind of bad.
Yeah.
I've never seen it actually.
The
remake?
I have. It's not. It's
Yeah,
not very good.
I mean I've seen the
It's
original
really
Psycho,
weird.
many times. I just remember being a kid and going to Universal Studios and doing the tram tour, and I don't think they took it down. They may have moved it, but I was under the impression they tore down the original Psycho house to build the new one because they changed it for the new movie. It's a completely different architecture, and I remember just being like hurt, like why? Why would you destroy a piece of Hollywood?
This is the future.
Yeah.
Where remakes have to destroy everything that the original stood for.
We also peed on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hate
That's
all
part
things.
of the process.
Well, either way, Sicario wasn't. Sicario had much better actors. So
Yeah. I
thought,
liked all the performances.
Yeah, the
from
performances I
Sicario,
thought were
honestly.
much better
No
than-
complaints about
but
the performances.
I think the parts Bruce was talking about, there are these like establishing shots that are beautiful.
Yeah.
Like the cinematography, I thought in Sicario was just like, I don't know, it just blew me away. So I was like, those establishing shots were like very, I don't know how you describe the music, very Terminator. I don't know, like
it feels evil. It just feels very, very evil. Like they're in an evil place.
unsettling.
Yeah.
And that was the way, like I said, sort of compared to True Detective, because it felt like they were both just in a really bad place and bad things were going to happen. There was one shot in particular in Sicario where it's the sunset shot, where basically the
Towards the end, right?
Yeah, towards the end, where all the guys are sort of walking into a valley and they disappear into the darkness, but you can still see the sunset. It's gorgeous. It's an amazing shot, and it's one of those things that like really stood out to me in the movie, which is very rare for me. Usually, I don't take note of an actual shot, but that was beautiful. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, I remember that was the thing. Like I kept noticing, I'm like, oh, this movie's so beautiful. And I've explained this many times on the podcast, but for you, Adam, I'll explain it. I'm cursed when it comes to movie theaters. There's always one person who will ruin a film for me who's in the theater. It doesn't matter. So Bruce and I went to this movie that's 2 weeks old, empty theater.
At 10 o'clock
Oh.
at night.
10
really
like
late.
at 10 o'clock on like a Tuesday, and we're like empty theater. One motherfucker with his girlfriend shows up. They sit
no.
in the bottom row to the left, and he's the loudest person in the world, just eating just handfuls of popcorn, just chewing with his mouth open and like ripping the bag apart. Bruce didn't
Sometimes
notice.
empty theaters
Yeah.
kind of provoke that from people.
They do because they don't care.
Yeah.
And they'll just be like, oh,
Like,
fuck it, I'll
only
be
piss
loud.
off one guy.
Yeah, yeah.
What are the odds that he's going to confront me about it?
I know.
Well,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
also to be fair, Bruce and I kind of did a dick move where we went to a theater nearby that did assigned seating, and we sat. We just saw some empty seats in the middle. And we're like, yeah, we'll just go sit up there, and it was like one row off or whatever. And we saw a few people walk in, and they kind of did the double take with
like
like,
stared at us.
and I was like, oh, we're that guy.
We're in their, we were in their seats for sure.
I am the asshole.
And we felt bad, but I mean, like again, there's seats everywhere, so they took seats.
Yeah.
And I dropped my cell phone fell out of my pocket. Like it was a bad a movie experience, I think, for everybody in the theater. However, we all liked the movie.
Yeah. I remember walking away from the movie and just being like I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good time. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, that was a fucking great movie.
I find I have the best luck with movies if I see them as early as possible.
It's the same
So
with
the
me.
theater
Yeah.
opens
Yep.
and they start playing the shows at noon or whatever.
If you go in the mornings.
Yeah, and then if people do show up, which I mean, usually the theater's pretty much empty. If people do show up, it's a bunch of old people.
Right.
It's
Oh.
a bunch of old people, right? Not a bunch of like drunk teenagers or
Yep.
something, you know.
No, absolutely.
do they clap for the films afterwards in Canada? Is that a thing?
Well, at film festivals, yes.
No, I mean like
Otherwise,
normal.
No, but like in a theater.
Yeah, civilians.
I don't think. I'm trying to pinpoint if I remember that happening. I think it's maybe happened once, but usually not. Only at film festivals.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's a weird thing.
Is that
it happens
after
here.
like Like often or?
Like a big opening, right?
I was gonna say, I
Okay.
feel like if you go to a really nerdy, like let's say you went to see Avengers opening night,
Yeah.
that everybody claps at the end of the film, which to
Yeah.
me is sort of like
Because Joss Whedon's there, right?
no.
Oh,
That's
okay,
like-
gotcha,
It's
yeah.
just a standard movie, but to me, it smacks of like a film festival because like everybody gets to see it first. It's like the first showing, and you know,
Okay.
everybody's really excited. 2 weeks into a movie, I think if like you went and saw it 2 or 3 weeks after release and they clapped, then there'd be a problem. That would be weird.
I understand the like how it's weird, but trying my best to think about it like as objectively as I can, like yeah, if the theater has a lot of people in it, then you might as well show a group form of appreciation.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you get if the rest of the audience liked it or,
Right,
or
right, that
something.
makes sense, yeah.
But otherwise, I understand the argument of the people that made it aren't there.
It's just strange because I've never heard anyone boo after a movie.
Oh, I have.
Really?
Oh yeah.
For what movie?
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity 2.
They booed it.
Oh yeah.
At the
it
end
was
of the movie?
great. It was so funny. It was
Wow.
the funniest experience.
Was it just
for me.
one person going?
No,
boo?
it was a packed theater of
Okay.
people that were like laughing the entire movie. The pool cleaner robot ghost.
I
There were
didn't- I haven't
people
seen
that
it.
angrily walked out. They didn't just walk out. They walked out like stomping their feet
to
just to
show
make sure
everybody they were-
everybody
yeah.
knew in the theater. It was one of the best movie experiences because I wasn't taking it seriously anyway.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that was just a great point.
I did a similar thing. So I remember going to like a dollar theater out here. Like it was Paranormal Activity 3. And it was, I think it must have been like 9 weeks after the movie had come out. So it was like super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in expecting the movie to suck. I remember walking out and just being like, that wasn't as bad as it should have been. I remember kind of liking it.
And a lot of people liked Paranormal Activity 3.
Yeah, 3. I never saw 2 because the first one just kind of pissed me off. I was like, okay, I get it. This is how you make a cheap movie. Fine. But like third one is actually somewhat entertaining.
Are you ready for the ghost dimension?
That's the fourth one, right?
No.
Like-
Okay,
Yeah,
so
what
they've
number are
made.
we at?
I think this is the 6th.
Is it the sixth
Well,
Paranormal
okay,
Activity?
so there were 3, and then there was like Ghetto Paranormal Activity or something. Like there was there was like the version where it's like we're
like-
doing a spin-off.
Paranormal Activity in the Hood.
I was going to say
It was
they're doing the
based
Leprechaun
like I don't remember
formula.
what it was
Yeah.
called, but it was like
There are 6 of them?
I think it's either 5 or 6.
Holy shit.
It's definitely not 4.
That's-
It's definitely not 4.
that's
If you're
crazy.
counting the spin-offs that
franchise.
really aren't spin-offs, but they just decided to release one on Halloween, but
I didn't know they had spin-offs. I don't follow it that closely.
it's like, oh, this doesn't have to do with the original family, but we're calling it Paranormal Activity movie.
Right,
is
right.
what it is.
They're leveraging the brand.
Yeah,
That's what they're doing.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's at this point I consider it pretty equivalent to the Saw franchise,
Right.
Especially with how they keep coming back to those original characters.
I
I don't know if like you guys both saw 2 and 3, right?
Yeah, I mean, I get the basic plot. It's like, like the first one has that really freaky moment where the girl finds like a photo in the attic. That was the one part where I'm like, oh, that's kind of disturbing. And you see like hooves like showing up. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little creepy that there's like this demon monster chasing you. And like Insidious did the exact same thing.
Yep.
Poltergeist did the exact same thing. Like, okay, cool. The demon follows the kid or whatever. And that's it, right? And then and then the third one they do like a prequel and they show like witches are involved or something and Satan's there. I don't know. It's dumb.
Well, I mean, Insidious
Yeah.
is doing the same thing too. They're now on 3, right, or 4?
They just did the third one,
I
right?
think it's just they just released the third one or about to.
No, the third one came out.
It did?
Insidious 8, Ghost Protocol.
I'm so tired of it. Like, I mean, like, but I guess they always make money and they're always very low budget. So okay.
Well, that's the whole point. Is there's one guy producing all of these movies
Yeah.
pretty much, and he's just saying like, "Oh, let's keep making these shitty handheld horror movies, and they'll keep making profit."
Do you think
What is his
anyone
name?
walks
like
in-
Blumhouse Productions is his
I
company?
forget, yeah.
Something
I know what you're
Blum.
talking about.
He's doing like pretty much all of these stupid found footage movies.
Well, do you think anyone walks in to the theater and be like, "This better be about the family. I need closure."
Yeah,
like
no.
about
I-
like.
Well, yeah, there's no point. I think that the best thing the sequel could have done, Paranormal Activity 2, would be to have just done away with the original story and just have its own, like, okay, this is another closed story that has nothing to do with the first movie. Because as soon as you say, okay, now everything has to tie into that first family, it raises the question of what makes this family so special. Like, why aren't there hauntings anywhere else that have nothing to do with it?
Oh, you see, people love
And
the
then-
characters.
Well, yeah, it doesn't make any sense for it to be related, and it just winds up making it worse. So, like the Saw franchise, how it just keeps rewriting itself in history and being like, oh, well, secretly this one happened before the other movies.
Yeah.
That happened in Paranormal Activity. They pulled the twist of, oh, this one happened before the other movies, and that's why it's related.
Right.
It just gets stupider and stupider. And at this point, it's really obvious where it's just like, okay, there's a certain percentage of the population that wants to see a movie on Halloween,
Right.
and they'll see anything
Any
as
horror-
long as
any
it's a
horror
horror
movie.
movie.
Yep, any horror
And that's how they get their money, is not people that go to the theater looking for a movie to watch that they think they'll like. They're just looking for something like, oh, this is the time of year where I'm supposed to see something scary. What's a scary movie right now?
I mean,
And that's how they make their
I mean, like at the same theater, the Dollar Theater I went to, I saw Jack and Jill, and
Why?
people, because
It was $1.
Why?
It was $1.
No, I mean, I would want a refund if I didn't pay for it. It's not worth your time.
At the
let alone
time,
your money.
at the time, it was either $1 or there was a cool kid who worked there and would get us in for free.
Ooh.
Free is not worth it.
Well, I mean, like you got nothing better to do, and you're like, I want to go see a bad movie. I'm going
There's
to.
a lot of better things you could be doing.
I know. I could be, just slapping my dick around. But it was like I was with a group of people and they wanted to go see a bad movie. So I remember seeing Jack and Jill, and we would just drink in the car and just just get wasted and just be like, let's go see this movie. And I remember what scared me was people were in the audience actually laughing at the movie and being like, oh, yes. And I remember just like, wow, you found that movie funny. Like that movie's like one of the worst.
Money. They make money. They're profitable movies.
They do.
That's why they keep happening.
Yeah, that's why they keep
At
making
one
them.
point, I could tell they were filming at Adam Sandler's house.
Oh.
It was like Katie Holmes is like his wife, and they're sitting around this big table. I'm like, this house is strange that they picked this for his family. They filmed at his house, and he probably wrote that off. He's a genius. Like,
funny.
I mean, don't get me
Write
wrong.
off all of your utilities and tax property.
He's a smart man. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but I did see Jack and Jill, and I apologize.
Yeah. That's not. Those aren't the actions of a smart man.
Oh, I'm saying, like,
don't encourage them.
But I'm just saying there are people out there. Yes, they want to go to Halloween movies. They want to see. They just like. I just want to be scared. Give me something spooky. I don't care who the masked killer is this time.
That's how they make money.
Yeah, or like right now, I guess what's the hot ticket? Paranormal stuff.
I mean, Paranormal Activity is going to keep making movies. So they've got Ghost Dimension. I was about to call it Ghost Protocol again.
I thought that's what it was called.
I know. But I think that's going to be the #1 Halloween movie. Oh wait, Crimson Peak is coming out. But right now, and it's kind of a Halloween movie, so it might. It's out already, technically.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it out already?
Yeah.
And there were no early
I haven't seen it yet.
reviews, so that's not good.
There's reviews out right now, though.
I don't think they were.
I was gonna say now that
Hold on.
when we recorded
I'll
this,
look 'em
it's Friday. Yeah, go ahead. Look some. I mean, have you seen any of the reviews? Good.
It's got
bad?
like a Metascore of, I think 67.
Yeah, that's
and people posted in my subreddit saying it was all right. So
Ooh, all right.
I know. And so usually when people think it's all right and it's got a mixed review, I usually don't like it that much. As much as I love Guillermo, I love him for his like physical
comedy.
Well, it's
Yeah.
it's production design basically.
well, yeah, it's the costume design and he's got a great imagination. Pan's Labyrinth is one of the best movies ever made, and
It has a 69% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's-
69.
It's not bad.
he's hit or miss because
He really is hit or miss. Yeah,
He
absolutely.
doesn't. Not every single one of his movies is amazing. And looking at the trailer and CG ghosts, usually I don't really feel that much of a threat if it's supposed to scare me and it's computer animated. And all I'm thinking is like it's not there.
It's
and
not real,
The
right.
actors don't act as though they're there. You know.
I
don't know.
Yeah,
Could be good.
I think I can already see like kind of the twist coming like a mile away, where they're like, this girl lives in a house, but ooh, Jessica Chastain's being spooky, and it's like, okay.
I think one of the other things that put me off of the trailer is that the entire trailer shows a small cast of people, and that way I know that the body count has to be really low.
Oh, you want the body count to be high in your horror
Well,
films?
I mean, if
Okay.
you want to show some semblance of a threat,
I guess. I mean, like,
it doesn't have to be. I mean, The Shining's amazing,
well,
right?
yeah, exactly. And for me, like, one of my favorite horror films ever made, although I'm not like a connoisseur of these movies, is the original Blair Witch, and I got really lucky with the original Blair Witch because I saw it at the perfect time when nobody knew it was fake. So I saw it the very first, like the opening weekend with a theater full of people, and it scared the fuck out of me.
I know a lot of people. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying, and no, like barely anybody died. Like one person maybe got
Maybe.
Well, there's no
know,
confirmed deaths.
There's no confirmed deaths,
Really?
exactly, and that scared the shit out because you could see it. That's what scared me is you couldn't see it, and
Yeah.
that's why I think I identify with you with the CG ghosts because when you see them, you're just like, oh, there's another ghost.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. There's a lot of fear in what's not seen, and I think that a lot of early horror movies, especially the Blair Witch, really captured that and did it well.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people hate the Blair Witch, but I kind of like it.
I
and
liked it a lot.
I think a lot of people forget that it was at a time where you could release a movie like that and people would actually believe it's real, and you could market it that way. And
They did.
the actors had IMDb pages where during the release of the movie they changed them to be listed as missing, which is insane.
Yeah,
it's a cool level of viral marketing.
And that was early on too. It was like what 2000.
It was 2000.
I think it was
2000. Okay.
99
It's
or
like
2000.
really, I
Yeah.
don't even.
And again, like this was like sort of early on in the internet's history.
Yeah.
So like you couldn't go on and Google and be like, is this fake or real? It was just sort of like, well, maybe it is. Maybe.
And
it
it was one of the first of its kind to actually present itself in a way saying, okay, this is real, even though it was completely fabricated.
Yeah.
And all the acting was great, which is weird because none of those actors continued making
Not at
any
all.
notable movies.
Yeah, not at all.
Which is really weird.
So did anyone see Blair Witch 2?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I did. It was terrible.
I saw it. I remember seeing it in the same theater. I saw Blair Witch 1, and I'm like, let's see what happens. But funny enough, I remember thinking the main guy in that was pretty good. The main actor, dude, whoever was in, he's in Burn Notice now, or was in Burn Notice.
Oh.
And funny enough, he was in Sicario. He was the dude with the glasses. He was at the border. He was just there for a little bit.
Oh.
But I was like, that's the only person I can think of who ever got a career out of a Blair Witch movie.
Wow.
Sadly enough. And
There
then
were
there's
like 3 or 4, right? The Blair Witch.
No, I think there's only 2.
there was
Oh,
only
really? I thought they made a third.
They had planned on a third that was going to be a prequel.
Unless we just repressed all of them.
There was a video game. I do remember that.
What?
Yes.
A Blair Witch video game.
It was PC
Really?
only. Yeah, and I think it was real. I think it was like a Book of Shadows sort of thing. And I think that was the prequel. They went all in, and there was like after the second one bombed, they were like, well, maybe we don't know what the fuck we're doing, so let's stop making Blair Witch movies. But now it's funny because it comes full circle, and now Paranormal Activity comes out, and it's a franchise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's
They're
very
copying
successful.
Saw. They know the exact business marketing strategy. It's just release one movie every Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if it's shit. The fact is that it's cheap and you'll make money off of it because people will see it because it's Halloween.
And they were trying to do that with The Purge, and that didn't work.
Oh yeah, Purge was terrible.
Yeah, I mean the first one wasn't even.
The first one was terrible.
Yeah, it was. I remember walking away from that movie going, interesting idea. Ethan Hawke's handsome.
A handsome boy.
Yeah, and the lady, Lena Headley's in it.
Lena Headey. Yeah.
Lena Headley, whatever.
I
Game
always
of
say
Thrones.
Headley. I think it's funny.
I don't know, but I don't hang out with her. Actually, I did walk by her at the after party, but anyway.
Oh,
Yeah, she's very striking in real life. Regardless, yeah, Purge was another thing they tried it with, and it didn't really work. But I think that's even the same guy who does all the Paranormal Activity movies.
what?
It's like
No,
or
I think
it's
maybe
the
he
same
produced
production,
it.
same production company.
Oren Pelly. I don't know.
Oh,
One of-
yeah, that's
producers
the
thing.
same guy. He did all the Paranormal Activities. Did you
Well,
also
no, Paranormal Activity is who I was just referencing. I don't know if he has any
No.
connection to The Purge or not.
Right.
But
I'm really curious.
he produces a lot of things now
'Cause now
because he
I
got a
wanna-
lot of money off of Paranormal Activity, spending only what $11,000,
yeah.
like $17,000 on the movie, and then making millions. So he's got
Yeah.
a lot of producing power and
It's
a
strange.
name.
It's strange though that we can have a Paranormal Activity movie that costs nothing, and then it will make gangbusters do all this crazy amounts of money. Then you have Crimson Peak, which doesn't look cheap,
Oh, yeah.
and it probably won't do half as well. So horror is actually it's kind of strange that you can have two sides of it.
Well, we'll see how well Crimson Peak does. We don't know yet, really.
So I think it's coming out against Goosebumps. And
Oh
so
yeah,
and so-
Goosebumps is gonna.
It's gonna get all the
probably destroy
kids.
it.
That'll win.
It's gonna
Yeah.
get all the people that are looking for a good nostalgia movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, he does. Oren Pelly does all the Insidiouses as well as the Paranormal Activities.
Oh, yeah.
Insidiouses. Well, there's also Insidiouses and then
He didn't.
Sinisters.
He didn't direct Insidious though.
Oh,
You're
no,
looking at his
producer. Yeah.
Okay,
Also,
I think
he
that was
produced-
James Wan.
He produced a show that nobody else watched, but I did, which was The River.
No, I remember the commercials for that, but I never saw it.
I watched the shit out of it, and I really enjoyed it, and
yeah?
nobody else did. So,
All right.
Yeah, I know.
Is
It's
that
great.
okay?
Endorsement.
What's the river about?
The River was about basically there was a crew Or there's a guy that like an explorer, basically like what's
Was that one of those like from the producer of Lost type shows?
No, not at all.
The producer of Paranormal Activity.
No, I do remember it.
Yeah.
And he explores the Amazon River, but like ends up getting basically I think he ends up finding the fountain.
There's a bunch of night vision.
There is some night vision. Yeah, it was every episode was like a mini horror film, cool. And it was kind of cool. Like I really liked his name is Bruce Greenwood. And he's the
actor.
Yeah, the actor.
Yeah.
And he was very good in it. I don't know. Like I said, nobody else watched it.
You watch a lot of things that no one watches, like Arrow and Flash.
No, a lot of people watch Arrow and Flash, but that's because they're on the 4th seasons. But
I always think it's just someone on life support or a grandfather who fell asleep.
No.
I think
that getting renewed.
That's the Nielsen families right there.
They would cancel those shows because the production values are relatively high, so they would cancel those shows if they didn't get.
You're
watched.
keeping it alive, Bruce.
I'm the only one apparently. I think actually shitloads of people watch those shows. The River nobody watched because they canceled that right away. So.
Can I recommend a show that everybody should be watching?
Absolutely.
Nathan For You.
Oh yeah, we're
yeah?
hot on
okay,
that
good.
One.
Oh yeah,
okay,
we're
great.
big fans.
On that one. Well, I actually just watched the first episode of season 2 last night.
Okay, great. Yeah, season 3 is coming out soon.
Or was it season 2 or 3?
Well, 3 is coming out soon. So if you watch the first episode of season 2, you still
Season 2
can
is when he
watch
did,
the rest of season 2.
Season 2 was the dumb Starbucks.
Yeah.
Oh,
season
it was
2 is out.
Then it's
Yeah.
season 3. Then I watched season 3 last night.
Oh, what? The
Yeah.
first episode's
Just
out
started,
already?
yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, just
now I
started.
know.
Yeah,
watch it.
I had it loaded up on my computer. It's on the website. I've been meaning to watch it. But I'm going to catch up on season 2.
Nathan For You is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing show. Also, the guy that stars in Nathan For You, he came from. Let's see if you guys watch this show.
John
Benjamin Has a Van.
Yep.
Did you ever watch that show?
Nope.
That was
But
on Netflix. Only one season, and it was fucking awesome. It was so good.
He also, way back when, over 10 years ago, I think, did segments on a Canadian show called This Hour Has 22 Minutes, which you guys probably have not heard of, but it was like a news satirical.
I've heard of it, never watched it.
It was like a fake news thing, almost like The Onion, but not really. It had a laugh track and all that, but
Was it good?
parts of it. Yeah. I mean, like it's a good nostalgic thing, but it's one of those shows where it's like not really politically relevant anymore if you rewatch it.
Yeah.
It's always about pop culture, current politics, which I feel the same way about South Park in a way.
Right.
I always feel when I'm watching South Park, watching it currently, I always love it. But going back and watching older episodes, sometimes I can't. It depends on the episode and depends on what it's about. Because one of my favorite things about South Park is the social commentary. But
Yeah, absolutely.
On that same note, another Comedy Central show I know Bruce and I watch is Review. I don't know if anyone.
I've been recommended that, but I have not seen it.
I mean, the concept behind the show, it's Adam Daly who
Andy Daly?
is Andy Daly. Sorry, who is like kind of hardcore UCB type. If you're trying to think of like the right word, it's like Hollywood royalty in some weird way, where like Hollywood loves this guy, but all shows always end up getting canceled because like people in Hollywood think he's funny, and it's like it's this weird sort of thing. Like back when I worked in casting, I remember the girl who played Maybe got brought in to be cast in some like horrible horror movie they were doing at the time, only because she was on Arrested Development, and the casting agent liked watching Arrested Development. Yeah. So it was like there are people in Hollywood who love Hollywood people, so it's kind of a weird thing. But anyway, the concept is he will review anything, and it is scripted, and there's an overarching plot line. So like one of my favorite episodes is the very beginning is someone asks him, like it's like someone does like a webcam, they're like, hey, what's it like to eat 15 pancakes? And he's like, well, let's find out. And he does like a real review, and then he's like, I give it 2 out of 5 stars. Like, okay. And then the next one is, what's it like to get divorced? And he's like, oh God. And so then he's like, his wife has no idea that he has a show or does any of this stuff. So he's just kind of like, he's like, honey, we need to talk. And she's like, what's going on, honey? He's like, we need to end it. We need to end it. It's got to end. Then she's like, why are you doing this? He's like, I got to do it. It's just like, it's one of the roughest things. And she like comes around and she's like, yeah, getting a divorce was like one of the greatest things that we could have ever done. And he's just like, that's fantastic. And he's like, I give divorce a 1 out of 5. Yeah. And then the next review requests are like, what's it like to eat 30 pancakes?
Awesome.
And he's just like,
and he's really sad because he just got a divorce.
Yep. So then he's eating all these pancakes, and then that's like first season stuff. Then it gets even crazier. But the concept of the show is amazing. I doubt it's going to last another season.
Yeah. What is it? 2 seasons in right now?
It's on its 2nd season right now.
Just finished the 2nd season.
Similar to Moonbeam City, I feel like it's a show that only I enjoy and other people don't.
I
Don't even know what that is.
You don't know what that is? I think
Moonbeam City.
you might
Yeah.
enjoy that. It's on Comedy Central. It's got like Rob Lowe and Elizabeth Banks as voice actors.
Or the Will Forte's on there.
Will Forte, and the animation is like relatively unique, I think, and it's kind of a
Okay.
it's kind of a C-Lab, but from the 80s.
Oh, nice.
It has people compare it to Archer.
Yeah, I like
a little
Archer.
bit. It's
Although
similar.
I haven't caught up recently, but
It's good.
I never know when Archer's on.
Yeah.
I watched it every season. There was only 10 episodes, and it like just randomly appears.
Was
on
the last
FX.
season the Vice one, or was there another one since then?
There was another one.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh, I missed it.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, it's a good, like, it's a consistently good show. It's not like ha 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 laugh the whole time, but it's still pretty good. I mean, like, it's still, it's well written and well
Yeah.
acted.
Yeah, I would say it's well written. Keeps my
Well,
attention.
yeah. I mean, Archer kind of makes me sad because I was a big C-Lab fan, and I was an even bigger Frisky Dingo fan.
I loved Frisky Dingo.
Yeah,
but
and
it
then
just fell apart.
I even enjoyed the 2 episodes of the Xtacles they did that no one saw.
Yeah, I saw those too.
Yeah, I was just like, always wanted more Frisky Dingo because I liked Adam Reed doing the main voice of like the main character, which, for those who don't know, he's the guy who created all these shows or whatever. But he's the voice of what's the guy in Archer? He's
Krieger? No, not Krieger.
no, he's the it's almost like a stereotypically gay Southerner.
Ray?
Ray, yeah,
It's Ray.
he's the voice of Ray, but that was sort of his like Xander Cruz voice. Like he's a great voice actor. But Ashawn Benjamin like being the main voice kind of threw me off a little bit. And Archer has lasted I think longer than like C-Lab and Frisky Dingo combined.
Yeah.
And it for me personally, I was like, it's not as good as Frisky Dingo.
Yeah, I feel that way too. But I think part of the reason why they moved to FX was because of some drama that happened that wound up affecting the show. Like I don't know if the Xtacles didn't get picked up because nobody watched it. I don't know. I'm just saying rumors at this point. I
Yeah.
should fact check this, but I think that there was some drama between them and the network that caused them to move over.
I've heard things about Adult Swim being kind of weird, especially with what just recently happened with Metalocalypse.
What happened there?
They're not doing the last season.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I forget exactly what it was. Brendan Small said like, I've got 12 or 14 episodes and that's it. Like that's going to finish the story. And they said, no, we want 24 and that's it. And so now he's going through Hulu or something like that. I need to get the rest of the story.
That last
but-
season's been in question for a couple of years because ever since they did that musical, the hour-long like rock musical thing, which was back in 2013.
Yeah.
We haven't had any Metalocalypse since.
Was it something cometh?
It was
I forget.
fucking awesome. Is what
Yeah,
it was.
it was a 1 hour rock opera.
Yeah, it was a 1 hour rock opera that basically wrapped up the whole show. At least
Really? I thought it
what they had
left
established.
questions.
Well, I mean, like I'm sure there were a few, but regardless, I don't
Yeah.
know if did you ever see that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it's
I
really
need to catch up a lot of
It's really
on a
great.
lot of that show.
Metalocalypse is like probably one of my all-time favorite shows.
I've enjoyed what I've seen, but I haven't watched it regularly. It's something that I just need to pick up on. Can we talk about The Martian?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Let's talk about
So
the
you
Martian.
both have seen The Martian.
We've
Yes.
both seen it. Yes.
What do you think?
I loved it. I thought it was great.
I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was very entertaining. I think it will not be remembered in 20 years.
So you think that you will remember it in 2 weeks?
Well, I'm saying like I don't think it's going to be like a classic film. I don't think it's going to be
Definitely not. Definitely not.
I think it was what's the term? I think you coined it. Someone said art house, popcorn art house.
Well, that was
flick.
James. I think.
Art house.
No, well, like there are films like that where like there's something cute about it. Like okay, they used math a lot in the movie, which I mean it's big.
It doesn't say art house to me. I wouldn't call it an art house movie at all.
I guess
I wouldn't use those words describing The Martian.
maybe not that movie in particular, but I'm just saying like it was a movie that at least didn't feel like it completely insulted my intelligence. Like I can go see a shitty Transformers movie and still find some enjoyment because I have to be in the right mindset. The Martian, I read the book and I was like just kind of I was like it was shot beautifully, but it looked like it was made on an assembly line.
Can you answer a question based on you being a person who has read the book? Because I haven't.
Sure.
In the book, I heard that a lot of the entertainment is kind of figuring out how he's going to solve each one of these problems. Is that true, or what was the experience for the book?
I mean, you're reading someone's journal who may or may not be dead.
Oh,
and
okay.
so you're
he's like literally he's writing the journal instead of saying it in the movie. Is
yeah.
Okay, cool.
You're reading his logs, and
Oh, okay.
and he's like very positive and very optimistic, and just kind of like, okay, we got to do this. And it's like, it just reads like a smart dude's journal.
And it never cuts back to the other characters.
Like that does happen.
Oh,
it,
what?
it cuts back and then
Okay,
it goes
weird.
into novel form where they're like, we got to get him back. And that's, it's interesting. It's a nice break, but you always want to go back to the character. I forget his name.
Watney?
Yep, there you go, Watney. That's how memorable the character was.
I found the movie to be very, very average. I wasn't really wowed by it. I really liked it visually, aesthetically. Everything was framed nicely, and the cool spacesuits that looked very Prometheus-esque, obviously from
Leftovers.
Ridley. Yeah, exactly. Ridley Scott being himself, but I found it to have the weirdest pacing. I found that it was one of the most impatient 2.5-hour movies that I've ever seen. Where there's a lot of films where I appreciate it for getting into the action right away, just like bam, you're there. And in this movie, I felt like all of these things happening to these characters at the very beginning without knowing anything about them or who they were wasn't really a positive. And
So it's actually, the book is written differently. Not that you have to do a one-to-one translation, because Jurassic Park did it fantastically, and other movies have done it as well. But it actually starts out with him just waking up, and he's like, "Oh shit!" Like,
That's cool.
And he's like, "What happened?" And then it's like a third of the book, and then it does a flashback, and it explains what happens, and then you're like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like, it kind of fills in the gaps. I was a little disappointed the movie didn't do it that way.
Yeah.
Like the way they introduce it, it's just, it felt sort of like, here's the stereotypical, like, hey, we're on Mars, cool, awesome, right? And you're like, who are these fucking people? I don't care.
Well,
Like,
I think what you're getting at, it felt very like cookie cutter and forgettable. Is that kind of what you're? Because like that's the way I felt. I mean, like I didn't. It's not like I'm going to rush to go back and watch the movie again.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed the character Mark Watney, and
he was the best part.
and I
It
enjoyed
was his scenes.
Yeah, well, I also like. I think I mentioned to somebody else, but I enjoyed the unflappable optimism, because most characters in most movies and television shows are like the antagonists nowadays. Like they're like the anti-heroes, and like they're assholes. Or they did something bad, or they they can always be.
or they're
like,
trying to get back to their kid or something.
but they're always end up doing like really shitty stuff. That's what I liked about this character. He was just sort of like, well, I'll figure it out. Like he kept figuring it out.
I liked him as a character. I liked his performance a lot, but there was this overarching issue with the movie being that all of the problems would show up and then quickly be resolved.
Yeah.
Except for obviously the big main, okay, I'm on Mars, how do I get off?
Right.
Right. That was the main plot of the movie. But literally every single other problem in the movie was like problem, solution, problem, solution, problem, solution.
Yeah.
Where characters would literally just show up to solve a problem and never be seen again. What's his name from Community?
Danny Glover, Donald Glover.
Oh, Donald Glover. Yeah, Donald Glover.
That's funny. Donald Glover literally just shows up and is like, "This is what you do." They're like, "Okay," and then he leaves. And then another part in the movie, it's just like these Chinese officials are like, "We've got a space station."
Yep.
Okay, great, and then they're gone, and it's like everything is just so impatient about it that I was kind of. I was thrown off a little that there were things that I wanted to see developed and they just never got developed.
So like in the book's 400 pages long, and it is paced a little bit better, but the pacing comes from like, he's on Mars, so it takes 30 minutes for a message to come back and forth. You can't do that in a movie because it'd be a lot of crossfades and it'd be very boring, and you don't want to see that. So I understand the sacrifices they made to make it a entertaining film. Like, I understand it, but like the whole Chinese thing was interesting because I remember telling Bruce at the end, they only kind of have a subtle reference to it where you see a Chinese pilot going on like the Eris 5 mission or whatever it is, because the deal that they cut was, we'll give you our booster, but we're going to get a Chinese astronaut in the next mission because we weren't asked before, and this is going to be a big like boost for China. And they even talk about, they're like, well, we also gave away like a $30 billion rocket. Is it actually really worth it? And it's going to set us behind. They're like, well, like time will tell. And I was like, okay, it was a really kind of in the book, it's kind of a throwaway, but at least there was more explanation. And in the movie, I mean, like, I don't think the movie was better or worse for it. To be like, they need to explain the Chinese more.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I don't think anyone cares.
It's not that I needed more of an explanation. I just felt like if you're translating a book to a movie and for it to feel that impatient, for me, there's an easy like 30 minutes in the dead center of the movie that could have just been lifted out for everything else in the exposition and conclusion to be
To, like,
expanded.
expand it a little
well,
more?
things that, well, I mean, when you're advertising a movie and you're talking about somebody being alone on Mars trying to figure out how to survive the entire time, I would like to see a bit more of what that would entail for a person psychologically, emotionally. He talks about it and he says how he's sick of the whatever music he was listening to, disco music.
Yeah.
And he references it here and there, but we don't really get to see it that much. We only really see him in psychological torment in the moment that something happens, like that really quick problem where the thing says malfunction, which was the weirdest thing.
Well, is that the part when the wind's blowing and like the tarp's kind of holding it
malfunction.
together?
Let me ask you this: did you like Castaway?
Yes and no. Okay, I like the first half of Castaway a lot.
Because I was going to say, I thought Castaway did a better job of making you feel like time passed, and even though there were problems that he encountered and he solved them, it felt more emotional. Maybe it's because Tom Hanks is a better actor. I don't know. But that was something.
I'd actually say Zemeckis is probably a better director.
That too. But regardless, I thought that there was a better way to pass the time and make you feel like he was alone.
Mm-hmm. I didn't get that with The Martian.
I didn't either.
Telling us that, but we never really felt it.
So we have this weird theory about Ridley Scott where he doesn't really direct movies anymore because he's transcended directing. Where I'm almost positive he just runs movie studios like an assembly line, but he's like I'm the director, but he probably has 5 or 6 directors under him, and he's like, just make this movie because he's kicking out a movie a year.
Yeah,
and that's a little crazy.
One of the things that my friend Mark, who saw the movie with me, said is it doesn't even really feel like a Ridley Scott movie. I kind of agree with him there. It was weird. It was a weird pacing. Like, yes, aesthetically it did, visually it did,
right?
But as a tone and pacing of a movie, it really didn't.
Well, I was gonna say, what would you describe? What's the most Ridley Scott movie you could think of?
I mean, even Prometheus still felt like a Ridley Scott movie.
I thought half of it did, and I thought that came from the aesthetics. Because like the story, I was like, it feels rushed and kind of crappy.
It's funny because the first half of that movie felt like a Ridley Scott film. It was kind of like slow and like things were sort
second
of
half kind of fell
but the second half not kind of fell apart, did fall apart.
Yeah.
And I saw that movie, ended up seeing it 3 times in theaters. I don't know why. I just ended up seeing it 3 times in theaters, and literally the storyline is just garbage. The latter half of that film. I don't know what happened, and actually that's why I liked The Martian, because at least it kind of stuck to what it was supposed to do.
Where a lot of people are coming from is like post Prometheus Ridley Scott pumping out something that isn't as flawed. I guess.
Maybe. I saw Prometheus 3 times, and I kept trying to figure out. I'm like, why don't I like this? And then it was because I'm like, it's visually, it's beautiful, the story's great, and a lot of people got hung up on. They're like, why does the botanist do this dumb thing, and this guy's it works with animals, and the cartographer gets lost. Like, look how dumb this is. Yeah. And I was like, my problem was more with the scientist dude, where they had been on this mission for how long were they in like hypersleep, like 7 years or whatever, and then they land, and he's like. He put like his Oakleys on and his backwards hat, and he's like, "Bro, let's go!" And like BMX is out there, and then like this is the day they land. He's like, "Let's go!" And everyone's like, well, "Slow down!" So he's like, "No, we got to go now." Then he goes and they don't find any aliens, and he just starts drinking. He's like, "Can't believe it!" And like The Martian, where it's like, "What's your rush?" Like, slow the fuck down. These guys are going to be here for years. Like, oops, sorry. Sorry. I'm getting all flustered. So I was like, what? Why is this movie in a rush? It's like, I feel rushed. I feel like uncomfortable not in a good way. Like, it feels like the movie's just like looking at its own watch and being like, let's end this.
Well,
that's how I felt about The Martian.
I was going to say, I can see what you're saying about The Martian. I think probably if you saw like a 3.5 hours director's cut, that would probably be okay. Because then it would feel a little more like Castaway, where like you let it breathe a little bit while he's on Mars.
Again, the problem with The Martian is I'm not somebody that read the book, and the movie should never be only for people who have read the book.
I didn't either.
And the problem with the pacing in The Martian is you could have cut out this chunk in the middle where nothing in the middle is attached to the beginning or the end. Everything in the movie is like problem, solution, problem, solution, problem, solution. And it's all contained. You're seeing like little 3-minute chunks of issues that the character has. Maybe not 3 minutes, but you're going back and forth between Earth and whatever. And you could have cut so much out to develop the rest is the issue I had. And another issue I had with The Martian is, although I thought Matt Damon was pretty great, I really liked his performance in it. Too. I felt like everybody else was doing their first script read through. I just imagine them being like at a table doing a script read through with Ridley Scott, and they were doing a good job, like they're professional actors, but as if they were reading it for the first time. That's how I felt watching every other character.
This goes back to our Ridley Scott theory, and I've heard this. This is what someone told us, but like he only does one take.
Yeah.
Like he sets up 7 cameras and he shoots it, and he's probably on his phone. He's like, "Go ahead. That sounds good. All right, next." And they're like, did we do it good? And because what you're seeing is their first take, and
that's what it felt like to me. Is everybody but Matt Damon?
I think that I honestly think that Ridley Scott just doesn't care anymore, and I think that he just it's at this point, like we said, he's just cranking out a movie a year. It's an assembly line, and like the last movie he did that probably he cared about was Gladiator. That was 15 years ago. So,
Yeah.
and
I haven't seen American Gangster.
Oh, I haven't. You know what? I haven't either.
I started
Obviously,
it. He does those movies for some reason where like they're super heavy on plot. Like I always said, those like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Not that he did those, but I was always like, why is there so much freaking plot in this movie? Like you don't need it. This is so unnecessarily thick. I don't know. It's strange, and that's what American Gangster was. So I'm just like. He had a love affair with Russell Crowe for a while, so he was just like, I'll just put you in anything. And then he made Robin Hood, and it was
Robin Hood was garbage, by the way. I saw Robin Hood in theaters.
Never saw it.
It was, and that actually felt like a Ridley Scott film, except that it wasn't good.
Okay.
So like it was
Felt
like
like
this,
a bad.
It was like this really slow, plodding movie about Robin Hood, and I was just like,
well, and it's an origin story, right?
Yeah, no, it's an origin.
He doesn't become Robin Hood until the end.
The
For a second,
end,
I heard orgy story.
Well, either way,
That would be more
that would be more entertaining. No, it just wasn't very good, and I've been trying to see these movies because I like Ridley Scott films. Well, I thought I did, but the more that I watch them, the more I'm like, ugh.
I think he's just figured out like how to really like combine art and selling out in a, like a good way where like he obviously like have you ever seen Dangerous Days, the documentary? So there's a 3-hour documentary about Blade Runner called Dangerous Days. It's really amazing, and like you can see Ridley Scott killed himself to make that movie, and it bombed financially and critically. So like at some point he just said, fuck it. Like I'm gonna make this as easy as possible, and he seems to be like the less he tries, the more money he makes. So he's like, I got my company, I got my directors, got my producers, my brother's dead, I get all the money, cool. And I'm like, I don't know. It seems to be working for him, so I can't fault him for it, but you get these weird things where like The Martian, you're like, I like parts of it, but something feels off. Like it feels like someone wasn't really trying, and like that's kind of what you're seeing. Like
Either
Jessica
way.
Chastain nailing it the first time or not.
Yeah, either way, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it once. You know, like
I'm never going to see it again.
Never going to watch it
Like
again.
it wasn't a bad movie at all. Sometimes when I say something's average, people think it means that I'm saying it's bad, but it was average. It was average. It was very, very like the bar, not below, not above. It was the bar.
Well, because remember you gave Sicario what, like you said, like a 7 or something.
Well,
like
I mean,
that?
I might give it an 8 later, but
Right.
I would,
No,
That's
I'm
my-
just I mean,
Sometimes when I do half, I say 7 for now, and then maybe 8 later.
people like numbers. People like high numbers.
I know.
And if it's not the best thing in the world, it just goes back to my Yelp reviews. I just can't stand them. It's like it's either the best thing or the worst thing. There's no such thing as like in the middle, and in the middle being okay sometimes.
Well, The Martian is worth a watch in the theaters. It's like one of those movies that if you're going to watch the film, you should see it in a theater. Don't watch it at home.
The first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, I thought was a great use of 3D. I don't know if you guys saw it in 3D or not.
No.
But the dust particles were very
cool.
very intense 3D wise.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like that.
Usually there's not that much so close to the frame consistently during a scene that you get to use it like that. But it was one of few movies where I was like, oh, I'm watching it, and I still remember that I'm watching it in 3D this far into the movie.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like that about it.
Well, should we wrap
I think
this
that's
up?
an end. Yeah, right there. So that's our tryout for a movie podcast.
We did it, boys.
We were all over the place.
I know.
That's
It was
fine.
very unfocused, but I don't care.
Adam, thanks for coming
unfocused.
Yeah,
by.
thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Thank
Where
you
can
for
people
having
see more of your wonderful stuff?
Do a Google search for
Perfect.
YMS or a YouTube search.
Perfect.
But your movie sucks, right?
Oh yeah, if you want to go to my website, but I mean, go to my website if there's a video missing on YouTube. Not
Honestly, like any relationship, you go to the YouTube channel where it's free and you can look, and
it's free on my website too,
but YouTube's easy.
yeah, exactly. YouTube is where people can click subscribe and comment and all that. and
But I highly
interact
recommend checking out some of his
Why,
reviews.
thank you.
They are fantastic, especially what's the cat one? Party Cat? No.
Oh, Cool Cat?
Cool Cat.
Yeah.
Oh, Cool Cat's one of my favorites.
Party Cat.
I forget.
That's Cool Cat's long lost cousin.
That and Megan is Missing. Definitely one of my favorites. But check out all the stuff. It's really great. Thanks for coming by, dude.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate it. And we'll see you. Let us know if you want more.
Hopefully we'll do this again.
We'll see. We'll talk about movies and won't shut up.
But
Bye-bye.
When you said we were going to a haunted house, I was like, cool, haunted house. And then as soon as we got out of that room, Adam goes, we're walking right into a trap, man. He's like, we're all gonna die tonight. He's like, and we're like, well, what do you think? What makes you think that? What do you think they're gonna do? And he raised a good point, which is, he's like,
It was very suspicious.
well, he raised a good point, which is, well, Jeff suggested that a bunch of the Achievement Hunter guys do something after work together. And I was like, I guess that is kind of suspicious. That is kind of strange.
Well, it was also this sort of thing where we were walking out and he's like, hey,